And we are live. Welcome back to the Sketch Zone podcast. I am Carlos Gomez, and with us this week, we have the art industry's answer to Eminem, Mr. Matthew Masterson.
Wow.
That's funny.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, glad to be here. It's awesome.
Thanks for coming on.
I've been hoping to get you on because you're one of the few people. Okay, so for the folks that don't know, when Sketch Zone first started, we had this where you could submit. I almost said gimmick, but now that I said it, we had this gimmick to where you submit your artwork and people were voting on it, and then if your score was high enough, you would then be able to, if you win after a certain amount of time, then you're able to come on the show and we'd show your work and have a conversation about where you want to go and everything. So Matt was one of the few people that actually used the system, and actually you did kind of win, but you know, we shut that whole thing down because no one was using it.
I like to call it a gift.
It was an avenue. It was a creative outlet avenue that was very untraveled.
Yeah, but it was cool, man. I mean, you were seeing other people's artwork get up there and stuff like that.
Yeah, and maybe we'll bring it back. So if you're out there in the Sketch Zone Nation and you want us to bring that back, let me know. We'll figure something out. With that being said, thank you, Matthew, for supporting us from the very beginning, and now we have you in our grasp.
It's cool.
And that guy over there with the really scary closet, that's Charlie B. Williams III.
Hey.
Perfect timing.
Jack, I love you with all my heart. Hello, everyone. Hello. My
So
father
good.
says hello also. I'm glad to be here. It's another great week in the Sketch Zone universe.
That's right. And that kid right there, that's Jack Casper, Zach.
Hi, that is. It's me. There's no comment.
Jack's all, it's me! Yeah, like an echo audio thing. It's me!
Back like a boss.
Oh.
So, a couple of things this week.
What's up? What's new?
Charlie, I don't know if you've heard of this because you haven't brought it to my attention yet. And now that I'm looking through my notes, I realize that I have this here. I signed up for the early bird beta. I don't know if it's considered a beta, but yeah, probably. It's called Vectary, VECTARY.com.
Yes. I am signed up for it.
Yeah, I just signed up for it today. I got the email earlier today saying you know, sign up and come play with this thing. So for those folks that don't really know what it is, can you explain it to them?
Yeah, so Vectary is a web, or I guess we should say browser-based modeling software that's really awesome. Intuitive controls, and you can always see why Carlos signed up for it, because he loves
It's
the tablet, and it's free.
Because he loves
$3.99.
free.
I'm gonna hype you up a little bit about you being on the forefront of handheld devices and all this other stuff, but okay, it's $3.99. So Carlos was like, "Yo, I can dig that, and somehow, ooh, you probably can do backgrounds and stuff for your comic. You can evolve it, yeah. But you know, as a 3D artist, I like it because the things that they're doing in Vectary is like it's like a little bit more annoying to do in Max or Maya or any other ones. When I saw like booleans and like extruding stuff in, it's just like, you know, draw your shape and push it in. I was like, ooh, it's almost like they just made it simple and nice. It's really cool. they're kind of being secretive about it, but they're pushing for their progress along. It's going pretty good. I'm still waiting on mine, but I saw it earlier this year. Through our other good friend Steve Tukowski, who's been on the show. Told me about it, and I was like, and I jumped on it right when they first launched their site and said, "Yo, sign up and take a look." And Carlos will put in there's a sizzle reel that they have, or whatever you want to call it, showing off their stuff. So we'll have it in the show notes. Really cool. Go out and sign up. We'll have the link and sign up and check it out. Imagine being able to just 3D model on your iPad, or using your iPad, using your pencil. Do both of you guys have an eye?
I didn't even think about that.
Pencil.
Yeah.
Charles,
Pencil.
Charles, you live here. You live right in my heart. You live in my heart.
Been there a while.
Yes, you have. Speaking of living in my heart, if anyone wants to send my heart a message, use the Sketch Zone hotline, 408-753-8248. That's 408-SKETCH-8.
They can talk to
Operators are standing by. Huh?
We're here too. You can talk to us too. That's just Carlos.
Yeah. There's a question and answer panel right there. If you guys want to use it, it's on this side there. Go ahead and send it away. Or hey, if you're listening and you want to hit us up on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, we're around.
Yeah.
Matthew, you get into 3D, don't you?
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Would a browser-based 3D program interest you at all?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I do it. See how it works. As long as it doesn't stall.
Yeah. As long as you have good internet, you're fine.
Yeah, they're doing good. There's the other browser-based one. I don't know if you heard about this one, Matt. The other browser-based one that's kind of leading the way, that's really powerful, is we talked about it, I think, off the show. I don't know. Did we talk about it on the show, Carlos? Autodesk Fusion 360?
Yeah, we did. We touched on it once.
If you didn't know that, guys, that's technically in the cloud and browser-based. So or it's standalone, but it's online. It's not really like living on your computer. It's weird. It's through Autodesk's cloud and all that stuff. So all that stuff is up there too. So I like where they're going with this. I hope they keep doing more stuff. What do you think, Jack? Have you got into any of those?
Modeling has never really been a strong thing for me, but I could see where it's going, and I could see just 3D programs and platforms in general kind of ending up on browser access anywhere you are. I could see that being really. I mean, the whole cloud argument. That's a whole other conversation. But just the idea of having access to it anywhere is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I've already run into that where I'm like, I left the file at home, or it's on. I have it. I may have the file on my drive or my cloud or whatever, but I don't have the software I need to open it. So,
okay.
And I mean, if you could just bust it open on a phone or an iPad, I mean, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Is there any 2D programs like that that are just totally good blending? That's good blending, and it feels great.
There used to be this one maybe a couple years ago called Sumo Paint that they were developing that was pretty much like a mirror of Photoshop. That was pretty slick, but it kind of, I don't know if Photoshop shut them down or whatever, but it kind of went into a freeze. I don't think it's really been developed. I could see definitely 2D stuff coming to life on the web as well.
Yeah.
If you can pull off 3D stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love an animating program because I'm getting more and more back into animation for work, and I would love I think an animation tool where you can just do quick, some kind of intuitive way where they kind of cut it down to the bare bones, almost like flipbook style, but maybe 3D too. Maybe you can do simple stuff. What's up?
Like storyboarding it?
Yeah, kind of. I'm not sure how you would
I could see that being really cool
A storyboarding one would be phenomenal. Yeah.
Because with the amount of people you usually have on a project that uses storyboards and the amount of sharing and back and forth, and obviously with working with folks overseas, I could see that being really valuable. Just a total accessibility from the browser.
sit in an Uber somewhere and you have to do some updates and then send it back up and everybody gets it.
A lot like
everybody gets it, does it? Yeah.
Imagine how cool that would be to have, like, say, Storyboard Pro, a browser-based version that operates a lot like Google Docs, where we do this all the time, where we have one document open and everyone is working on it all at the same time. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
well, actually,
I could see it getting really messy, but maybe not necessarily like the same image, but the same project would be really useful. Because like if I'm doing like sequence 1 of the storyboards and you're doing sequence 2, we can make sure they're constantly matching. And I mean, there could be some cool benefits, obviously, if they put sync checking in there. But
we might be onto something. We might need to start working out some software
quick, delete
flows.
this episode, quick.
Right. Because imagine having something like a Google Doc, and then you have all your panels up there, and you can lock a panel so that no one else is able to mess with it.
They see you working on it, like,
and then you release it, and maybe you can leave notes and stuff on the panel. But
it's like versioning, but for like the versioning software we use at work, we'll be checking in and checking stuff out from the server, but for more visual based and for storyboards, kind of cool.
Wow.
Does it? Okay,
I think we're onto something.
You're part of the other service from the Animation Mentor guy started. What is it called again? The project based place. Do they have any tools like that on theirs?
I haven't. I can't even really remember what they're called, but
what is it called?
I don't know. I have to go back, and I was getting in there and I was taking a look around and trying to get a good feel for what they were doing, and then I just I got busy with work, and then I traveled and blah 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 blah. So, but that's a good one. I'm gonna leave myself a note.
I think they are starting to develop. They were on that same like
Artella.
Yeah. I want to say they might have had some like ideas like that too. Check it out, guys. Too. Everybody listening. If you haven't been to Artella, it's kind of cool. It is cool. It's not kind of cool. It's cool.
And now let's talk about working on projects together, using assets from an artist that doesn't know you're using their assets.
What are you talking about?
It's like a secret collaboration. Only you.
Yeah, but
a one-way collaboration.
Yeah.
Does anyone have like an example that maybe they just come up with some random thing?
Maybe you drew like a really cool character with that was like kind of fun and awesome, and then someone collaborates with you and uses it as their logo.
Yo, I love that.
And by collaborate, we mean steal.
There should be a hashtag. That should be the new word for steal. We'll just call it collaborate.
One-way collaboration.
Collaborated the hell out of his drawing.
So I've got all right. So for all the folks out there, I've got one hell of a one-way collaboration story that is in the development as we speak.
So development.
Yeah, they're developing it. So there is a kind of a cool aspect to this, and I'll get to that.
Okay.
So as you all know, I'm an illustrator and drawer, and I post my stuff. I've been posting stuff on a blog and on Instagram and all that stuff for quite a long time now. And I get this email from somebody who lives in Germany. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, I found this company that seems to be using your art." And he sends me actually like photos of like a storefront that has. So I drew this Einstein character for Happy Pi Day through March 14th, like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just this Einstein with like a piece of chalk, and it's a photograph of like a storefront window with like a 15 by 20 of my Einstein just like plastered in their window. Then the name of the place is like Einstein Marketing or something. So I start researching this place, and I go on their Facebook and their Twitter and all this stuff, and they're using it as their like social avatar icon. They've got it on like business cards. They've got it on posters, website, and there's like photos from events that they hosted, and they've even printed it on like the side of a van.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So they've collaborated the hell out of
They
my
pushed
Einstein.
all their chips in.
Yeah.
So
They're like, this is so good, we're all in.
So you collabed on a corporate identity project,
Yeah.
but you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So
He won't know. He won't know.
Never
so
know.
So, you know, this brings up a lot of questions and a lot of well, before I say what I have done and what I am going to do, why don't I post this to the panel? And have you ever had something similar to this? And if you had, or if you did, what would you do, or what have you done?
I have never had anything like this happen to me yet.
Matt might be the closest.
Yeah, but we talk about this all the time. So after we talk about it, I want to know your reaction, because we've talked about stealing and stuff, and it's happened to you now. So it had to be like a heart stop, like.
Well,
You know, I mean, this stuff is like rampant because, you know, one of the artists that I follow here in the past week or two, really well-known character artist, and his artwork showed up on a video game app.
oh my God!
Oh.
Yeah,
That's just not cool. And you know, I've been kind of watching his feed lately to see what's come of it. But I think he sent a cease and desist letter to him. And he had to send it to iTunes because the game was on iTunes. And but yeah, they totally ripped off his Trump character, man, and put it on the slot games app, man.
Jeez.
And someone had said, it's like, oh yeah, that game company, man, they boast about like how well they protect their artists and how this and that, and it was just like, oh man. So I mean, it's like everywhere. But Jack's story, man, they totally took Jack there. Like,
Probably
how could you not notice,
Probably the closest I've gotten to this situation is I had a client that needed some design work done, and so I drew up some stuff first, and then big surprise, they're like, no, that's too cartoony. Okay, cool. So then I went and I got some more realistic looking vector artwork done, and then I started putting everything together, and they're like, no, not really, not quite. How about doing something like this? And then they gave me an example of something. Well, actually, I did the cartoony thing, and then I did another thing, and then they gave me the example of something that they wanted. And so then I took my design and I gave it the more of a look and feel of what of the example that they gave me. Mm-hmm. And a very long story short, they were looking for me to use photography that didn't belong to us. They wanted me to use artwork that didn't belong to us. So it wasn't the look and feel that I had created with other artwork, is that they wanted photography and stuff that I didn't take, that they didn't take. They wanted me to Google search stuff, and I was just like, no, that's kind of where I have to bow out, because I can't sit here and have a hard line on don't steal my stuff, don't use my stuff without my permission, and then I'm going to Google search some images for some photography for some people for some people that probably don't know that they're going to end up on your project. So, so I bowed out. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not. I just can't. I can't do that. That's against everything that I stand for. Like I'm very protective when it comes to artists and artists being taken advantage of. You know, go either give up the money to do a proper photo shoot or pay for those images or something.
Buy those
You're literally taking sandwiches off of someone's lunch table.
Yeah.
So that's the closest I've gotten to straight stealing someone's artwork. But yeah, this is Jack shared the link with this company, and I started harassing them on social media. I sent them messages in German.
Yo, I've been watching the Facebook message feed of that we have going on each week, and during the day I see it busy. She's like, "Yep, I just sent them a message." Ever since you guys happened, I'm like, man, I can't even respond because you guys just go back and forth. And he calls us like, "I've been talking to them."
Yeah. They've ignored me just fine, but the funny thing is they stole artwork from someone who hosts a podcast. So we got you on blast. So yeah, I hit them up on Twitter, and then they had a Facebook page, and I sent them a message on Facebook. I posted on their Facebook page like, "Wow, this looks really familiar. This looks just like," and then I put a link to Jack's website, and I was like, "Wow, like something tells me that you probably stole this. Like, did you really steal this? Like, you're a design company. What would you do?
Yeah, well,
Why
that's
would
the part
you
I left
steal?"
out.
Yo, what? Back up.
That's the part that I haven't gotten to yet. So,
Jack, you can take back over, and then you can go through.
What?
So, you've always heard of saying that like when people copy it's like one of the finest forms of flattery. Like I'd be like kind of okay with it if it was like Sven's Plumbing in the middle of Germany, and it was just some dude who was like a one-man thing and like couldn't afford a logo like that. I'd probably give that guy a pass, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's cute. He liked my stuff." No. So
that's cute.
this is a place that calls themselves a design company, and they offer design services, and their entire branding is stolen.
Yo, this is amazing.
I don't know, like. I know that there was a time in this world before the internet existed, and like you could rip someone off in another country and no one would ever find out. But when you go and like put it all over social media,
their profile picture is Jack's drawing.
Yo, I thought it was like a tax service or something.
No, it's straight up like a design and marketing company.
Yo, why didn't it happen to us? You can't write this.
So good. So good.
Oh, we should go on a year campaign against them.
Go on a field trip.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, can we like? Who's
interview
in Germany right now? I need a.
We got a couple connections. We have Mike is out there.
You've got family there.
Yeah, my daughter lives out there.
You just did a cease and desist letter sent from a German company.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost much, right? Just a letter, just to scare them.
On the thing too is like you've got these people out there stealing artists' work and stuff like that, and you can't fight every battle out there. I mean, there's some that, it's just needs to go down,
Yeah. You can fight it if it's yours.
Yeah. But it's just like I know, like on my stuff, like people like taking my stuff, kind of like you kind of like Jack said, it's like the dude's using it as his profile pic, like it's just kind of like I'm gonna do a cease and desist,
He gets no pass. He's an artist. He gets no pass. He's not an artist. He's like a It's like a shell of what an artist should be.
I'm also
that would
like,
be.
but I'm like also one of those guys that make those like memes or whatever on Facebook. You know, like if you play a Taylor Swift album back, and it's kind of cool because you post that stuff, and then like a couple months later it comes back to you. So,
I've always wondered about that. I've always wanted to do that and see how long it would take to actually get out there and get back to me.
yeah. Yeah, but you
What do
gotta.
you do? Oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
You just kind of fight your battles, as you go. But yeah, Jack's case, man, he got ripped.
Yeah, this one would be a lot of fun to see what happens if we did stay on it, though.
Yeah,
and I wonder how deep. Like, is it just a lazy designer went and found it and then sold it off as his own, and the owner of the company has no idea, or did the owner of the company? Because this happens all the time. I just got done telling a story about it where the owner of a company comes and says, "Nah, just use that. It's okay.
Yeah.
They'll never find out."
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, with social media and the internet, like that stuff is.
Yeah. So Jack, what did you do?
Well, so I've already talked to a couple people that work in the business and work with lawyers or work with have had similar situations, and pretty much everyone has advised the exact same thing. I mean, to take legal action overseas is pretty difficult. It's not impossible. You can do it, but the amount of money you spend in doing it is pretty substantial for something that a single image I probably is only worth at most a couple $1,000s. I mean, that said, the amount of things they used it on, and if I were to be their designer designing all this stuff for them, maybe we're into like tens of thousands. I don't really know.
Brand identity, yeah.
So, legal action's a little tough, but pretty much everyone said exactly the same thing. And this is kind of, we've had this conversation before, and this is kind of what I always said I would do, is, you just approach them and give them the opportunity to make it right. You inform them that if they didn't already know, which I'm sure they do, that the work was stolen, and basically give them a chance to properly and or pay what lost fees there would be. Otherwise, if they don't want to do that, then you can go forward with some sort of cease and desist. But again, to actually enforce that is pretty tough overseas. So that's where I began. I've contacted them, so we'll see what happens, and this will be an ongoing show update.
Yo, what if we just made it a segment? We just posted every show to their Facebook and Twitter.
We have to come up.
We have to have a theme song for One-Way Collaboration segment.
One-Way collaboration. We just did it for a year straight until they saw it. Because if it's up on their social networks every week.
This is what we do. I'll reach out to the designer and see if he wants to come on the show to talk about his skills.
We'd love to have you.
Like,
we interview the company head. It'd be an ambush job. Something better than what Fox News would do. And Jack comes on. He's like, "So, I have some questions to ask you." Everybody else gets quiet.
And you gotta have like a good segment, like this is Family and Friends Sketch Zone segment. And then Jack will pop in there as our special guest.
And then we start looking at Jack's profile, or not his profile, but his portfolio.
You just keep the Einstein one up the whole time.
Yeah. Oh,
I really like one.
You hit refresh on Einstein. I'm like, oh wow, that looks familiar. Where did you see that?
Yeah. And then you ask him, "Do you like this picture? Do you like this one?"
Do
you like this picture?
Do you like this one? Let's talk about this picture. Tell me what you like about it.
I mean, he didn't even try that hard. I mean, it's like if you just go to Google and type Einstein cartoon, I'm like on the 4th or 5th row. So it's like it's not like he even dug for this. He literally just was like, "Oh, that's cool." It just
in his head, he's like, "Oh, good, right away, my task is done."
It's just, yeah, this whole thing.
Yeah, but see, I gotta ask Jack a question here, man. Do you find yourself leveled up now? Like,
oh well, yeah. So, you know, a couple of people have said that. You know, like you've officially been plagiarized, and that's like, in a way, I guess it's a compliment. But you know, I mean, but is it though? Like I said, I think it would be if it was like fan art or if it was just some Joe Schmo like guy. But a place that calls themselves designer and just, I don't know. I think that's the part that ruins it.
I think you're leveled up not because of that part, but because some random dude in Germany contacted you.
That's what I said at the beginning. What's cool about this is that is also what's awesome about the internet is some random dude in Germany not only saw this place and took a photo of it. He was already familiar with me, which I guess I'm leveled up then, or he used like Google reverse image. It's like, oh, find out.
He would have to have some type of like suspicion. No, he knew about your stuff already. That's the cool part. Yeah.
And then he contacted me, so that part's pretty cool.
Yeah. Jack's like, I can get work over in Germany now.
That's just it. He's gotten work over Germany. He just hasn't gotten paid.
He worked on a whole brand identity.
He branded out this whole place.
Yeah, I got a whole portfolio piece over there that doesn't have my name on it.
Yeah, that's cool. People in Germany know who you are. I think that's really cool.
So I don't know if you guys remember because this was like episode 10, but when Josh Crockett, he was working on a bunch of 3D things, and I called him out on stealing my Chupacabra. You guys remember that?
Oh yeah.
Go back and watch episode 10 of the show. Josh Crockett was trying to steal my stuff, and I put the kibosh on that mess. I was like, son, you can't do this. Called him out on the show. So, and then he stopped. He stopped stealing my stuff. So this is how I know that reaching out to this German design company and confronting them on the show.
On the show,
the show works.
Josh Crockett, shame on you, sir. Shame on you.
Just time and change history.
I took Carlos's robot and I did a ZBrush bust. It wasn't, I think what it was is I had watched one of the shows, and I think you guys were talking about, like, the maquettes, getting a good, like, maquette for form and stuff like that. I think Carlos was talking about, like, man, how do you have good ideas for, positioning these guys,
Stuff, yeah.
And so I think, I was like, it'd be cool to do a ZBrush sculpt of your character, and you can form them the way you want them and stuff like that, and then use that as reference. And I think that's why I did the bust, but I didn't like throw it out there on Facebook and stuff like, look at what I did.
See, and that's the thing. Like I think I would be so flat. Well, unless Robots and Aliens ends up on like Cartoon Network without my name attached to it, then we would have an issue. But if someone steals my stuff, I'd be so excited, so flattered. I'd be like, woohoo!
You start reaching.
I'm so wanting to get plagiarized. It's not even.
Your Instagram and Twitter would blow up with just like on the hour that same link. Yo, check out this. Artist such and such stole my work.
And then someone will go, hey, Carlos, you're not getting paid. What?
Exactly. As the person who took my artwork is like floating by in a yacht, I'd be like, wait a minute, things just got real. Yeah. We gotta talk.
Post, you got a deal on. Cartoon Network.
Excuse me, John Lasseter.
John Lasseter. No, I mean I tiptoe like for the longest time, like I didn't do fan art or post, any type of that stuff, and lately I'm kind of doing it because listening to Jake Parker and Will Terry and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm like real careful about. Man, I don't want like, hey man, you copied that or something. So, but I clearly go out and say, hey, this is just fan art. It's
Yeah.
not even selling it. So.
Yeah, let's talk about that though. I like one of my favorite things, and this probably shouldn't be a favorite thing, but the confrontation makes me laugh. Have you ever been on a thread or in the forums, because all you guys are artists, of like the passive aggressive way artists like reach out to people who they saw like still work? I mean, I've seen this a lot of times in like college where it'll be like, hey, so that looks real nice, that you posted in class today, but I see similarities. I've been on forums where people posted their real work, like, or like in class is even better. In classes are like awkward. I've had only happened a couple times in college when I was in college where somebody was clearly like, like used some concept art, and their modeling was decent enough where you kind of recognize, like, wait a minute, I've seen this design before.
Well, you guys remember.
Their own.
You guys remember in our school where there was like a big shared drive and everyone was able to save their stuff to the network?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there was a guy who graduated, I think maybe one semester before I did. His entire demo reel consisted of other people's work.
How did he thought he was?
And he got a job at High Voltage.
Really?
He lasted maybe a week.
Oh.
Because, I mean,
at that point, you have to
heisted everyone else's work, and his work didn't compare. He was in over his head. And, yeah, last I heard he was a security guard somewhere.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it does catch up to you, man.
Probably blaming the school for why you didn't get a job.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That's so weird. Like, people forget that, like, even for artists that, like, work hard and work on their craft, get a job at a studio or somewhere, in your head you're like, okay, cool, I gotta perform, and you push yourself to perform. But if you built your whole portfolio on a lie, and like, or you even grab stuff, let's say off the internet, or finding free models from wherever, crappy, decent free models that are just decent, but they're not anything special, but you built your whole like portfolio on that, and maybe you done some texturing work to it or something like that. When you get a job, you have to like regurgitate what somebody saw on your portfolio or something, better than that, because they give you time to do it, and like that has to be like the scariest thing. If like they're gonna find out, like artists have that feeling anyway, of like, oh shit, I can't suck, I gotta produce.
Right.
But what if you suck for real? like
right.
What, and then you finally get that meeting after the 3 or 4 chances they give you. It's like your career's over with. It's almost like they're like playing up for their friends and family to say, oh yeah, I started at such and such place,
And that's a really good warning. And exactly what you said mixed in with what Jack said. The world itself is becoming so small with the internet and the Facebook and all the Twitters and all that stuff. Because there's a small design agency in Germany that used Jack's work, and someone walking by happened to recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wouldn't have happened 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or maybe even 5.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, the internet is so awesome right now. I think I mean, you jump on it every day, but you kind of forget about like how fast you can run
Yeah.
it across everything, you know.
Hey, real quick, I just got a message. If you are watching this show live right now, please let me know if you can hear audio. Just got a message that there's possibly no audio going through. I see all my levels going up and down, and the fact that
I see my
Matthew
levels.
is going to get tackled to the ground. So please send us a message on Twitter or
You should be able.
Sketch Zone Hotline.
You should be able to go to the page real quick. It'll be an echo for a second, but let's see if audio comes.
I'm playing. I can play it on YouTube live, fine.
Or you can go to sketch.zone.
So you hear it okay on YouTube?
No.
No? Check.
Oh yeah, I can hear it too.
Okay.
I went to Sketch Zone and I could hear it on there.
All right, cool. Yeah.
All right, cool.
If you're coming through, if you hear it.
Yeah.
I'm averted.
So with that said, let's talk about Matthew. Let's talk about your work. Your caricatures, number one. I'm going to go back to that page. Your caricatures are what drew my eye to you and your work. Your caricatures are so cool.
Really? Thank you.
How do you, like, what's your process when you're creating these guys?
Usually, it's kind of funny because, like, we're just off this rip-off thing. They have a lot of forums on Facebook and stuff, and there's a lot of great character artists out there doing, some great likenesses for celebrities and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes if you're doing the same celebrity, you'll have one character artist, the artwork kind of matches up, because, like that star or whatever may have a big nose or something, and you just put it in. But first, like when I start like doing these characters, I kind of always try to see what other people are doing and kind of like pick something, different, and it kind of leads you on a path, like whether it's political or funny or whatever it is, and kind of just gather, references, some good references, and you sit down and it's just about, working out the form, sketching it out, and then going into, something black and white or color, I don't do caricature to like make fun of someone, or anything like that. I think it's a challenge to sit there and bring someone's likeness out or their character out and make it look cool, put some style to it. And, it's always fun. It's always a challenge. To me, I'm always learning how to improve it, and I think it carries on over to like other parts of what I do. So,
are you the scribbly type of guy where you just scribble shapes until something comes out? Are you kind of like, because I know people use like the silhouette technique.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, there's times where it just kind of hits you like, man, I know what I'm gonna do here. And then there's other times where it's like I gotta work it out,
Right.
And you kind of go into like a scribble face type thing, and you work out some thumbnails and then go from there. Which is a good strategy, most of the time. But yeah, it's just it's kind of cool, and you get some really good critiques and stuff. And like I had a good friend put in a tip. It's like, man, maybe you should, work on this a little bit more. And it's like, okay, and you kind of watch your stuff evolve. Um,
Are you doing this in Photoshop first? Is it all
yeah.
Photoshop, or are you drawing first, scanning it in?
No. Just straight up Photoshop. Brita, Sketchbook Pro or whatever. I'll jump in there and just start sketching. I used to do the whole drawing thing, use the pen or the pencil. And,
The whole drawing.
I'm sold on the digital thing.
Wait, what are you saying?
I'm just kind of like, it's too messy.
I used to.
Aren't you drawing now?
It's it's just I just jump in there and start scribbling stuff out. But yeah, it's just
How similar is your drawing caricatures to the ZBrush work that you do? Is your approach kind of the same, where you just kind of go in and start lobbing around, or?
That's a good question, because lately, I've been taking a different approach to ZBrush on a more sketchy way. Working the brushes in ZBrush a little bit different than being so mechanical with it, and just basically going in there mainly with the clay tubes brush and putting a blur on the alpha there, and just going in and start working out shapes, and it's cool, it's just like I didn't really have to get in there and totally focus on details. It took me out of that and start working more with form at first. That's what you want to do. But yeah, it's just you get in these thought patterns where it's like, man, I got to start working a little bit different, challenge yourself a little bit different. But it's kind of cool though, man, doing the 3D thing, and then doing the painting thing, and I think we work really well together.
In ZBrush, you start out with a base mesh from another program, like another modeling program like Maximize, or you only Blender or something like that, or are you all in ZBrush?
I'm all in ZBrush.
So you just start with the red sphere or whatever, and you start pushing and pulling.
I'll think back, it's like, man, I did a face a while back in ZBrush, I'll use that as a base mesh.
Okay.
You got Bash, man.
Kit Bash, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then, so you're not working at, I formed this out of a sphere, It's like, so you can get mainly pretty much right into the creation part of it.
Yeah, I heard the clay tubes, and usually that's like, people like Danny Williams and other artists like that would, start out with pushing and pulling your sphere into a general shape of a head, and then clay tubing it up, almost clay like polish. Clay tubes and clay polish, and then Z remeshing it and keep going from there.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of Danny's lectures. I think a couple of them over at No Man and CTN. He's always like, when he gets up there and he's just like, it's so simple, and you're gonna do this, Yeah, but you do pick up those little tricks, man, and it's just like, wow, that did make it better.
Yeah, you block it out that form first,
Yeah, so, whatever you're interested in, how you want to create and stuff, look at all forms, look at all artists. They always have something in there, and it might not just work for you. It works for them, but try it. If it doesn't work for you, don't. You go on to the next one.
Yeah.
It's all good.
How'd you get into all this illustration and 3D sculpting stuff?
Man, well, I've always drawn. My parents were creative. My mom was creative in her own way. My dad was creative in his own way. Movies, man. man, we had Jaws, we had Star Wars. I mean, like, I remember going back and drawing, like, the battle scenes and stuff like that, and sitting in many hours in the bookstore looking at, you know, the artwork, you know, from these movies. But back then, you were told, like, man, you want to be an artist, so you're going to be poor.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, might as well be a carpenter, a doctor, a lawyer.
Yeah.
Did you go to school for art?
Yeah, I did. You know, it's okay to make a long story short type of thing. I met a guy named Tony Scroy, and he was in the business for quite some time. Worked a lot with Hanna-Barbera. He was a layout artist for them. Worked over at Disney. This is like old school stuff. And I had a friend that, you know, hey, you know, bring your portfolio by, because I've always done the art thing. Whether I was doing a lot of watercolors, inks at the time, and I didn't know who he was or anything like that, but it was, he looked at my stuff, and he was like, man, this is like great stuff. How'd you do it? And, you know, we had a good, you know, conversation, and, you know, back then I actually was an LA certified welder. You know, I was an iron worker.
Mm.
So, huh?
When was this?
And this
He
is
was 5.
yeah. No, this is like probably this is like 95, 95, 97. So.
Yeah.
But a couple days later, he had called me up. He's like, Matt, there's this animation hall, you know, up in Hollywood. If you'd like, I can put in a good word for you, and you can go up there and learn how to traditionally indie doing, you know? And, you know, think about it, you know, take a week or something like that, and then give me a call back and, you know, do something with your art, basically. You know, just don't let it sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I thought about it, less than a week type of thing. It's like, you know, this is something I'm going to do, you know. You know, career didn't dawn on me at that time. But I got up there and I started learning how to traditionally in between. And I was just like floored because, you know, you had people coming in from the studios teaching you this stuff. And but the thing at the time was you were seeing analog, you know, traditional animation go away and the computer come in. And like, you know, you had artists like Chuck Jones, you know, either passing away or retiring, you know. And it was just like, wow, you know, to further this along, you know, I'm going to have to learn how to turn on a computer, you know. Tell me it's on the backside of the computer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing led to another, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, this is a turning point in my life, and ended up going to school for graphic design and web design.
What school did you go to?
Brooks College. Carlos and I were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
It was one of those schools that it was all over the news, man, in a bad way. But yeah, I went to Brooks College down in Long Beach.
I was just remembering how we made a big announcement earlier in the show, like I don't know, it was like episode 5 or something. We're going way back every 10 minutes now. But our school had gotten in trouble and they started closing schools down. And we started rattling them off. I was like, oh man. And the guys were like, there might be some people that don't know their school is closing. I'm like, well, if you're in Atlanta, don't go to school on Monday.
Let me get that transcript.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it was. So, anyways, I got, you know, my associate's degree through them, and within a year, I got into the entertainment marketing, agency where I was able to work with some good people, man, and I was privileged in a way where I was working with major brands like GM, Heineken. You know, from week to week it would have been different. You had your base kind of duties of what you did, and it was funny because like I didn't go to school for editing. I ended up being an editor there, doing video editing and learning like motion graphics. You know, to boost presentation appearances and stuff like that. But it was a good time, you know. And while I was doing that, here comes a school named Newman down in Hollywood pops up, and I believe I was at one of their first Newman workshops. Man, it was pretty cool. You know, it was just like it hit me, and like at the time is like graphic design was like you do this and there's these rules and these rules and you know you work with these programs and type of thing, and here comes like Newman and these really cool artists, and you know it's like man, you know, we're doing this stuff, and it was like wow. So you know I was, you know, any type of thing, get together, a lecture or whatever that was going over on Newman, I was running over there and sucking it up, you know. And
so they
it
were
was
having free workshops and stuff for Newman?
huh?
They were having free workshops?
No. You paid like they would go on for like 2 or 3 days, and then you would pay for those days.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you were seeing like guys like Zach Petrock, Brian Church, all those guys, man, and that's when ZBrush hit, man. It was just like, oh my god, that's like incredible, because at the time, like, I was in and out of Lightwave, you know, and I'm a like very visual person, and I don't like get mechanically inclined when I'm like trying to create, and it's like, here comes ZBrush, you know, and it was just like, dude, that's like freaking unreal, you know? It's just like you're just pushing and pulling stuff, and then I saw Zach throw down and do his thing, and I was just like, wow, you know, I'm buying this program, went out and bought it, and it sat on my computer for forever.
What version did you buy?
Dude, I think it was like 3.0 or something, man. I remember buying ZBrush for like $300.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. But yeah, but it sat on my computer for a while, and I just, you know, I think it was just I didn't know how to work with it in a pipeline type of thing, you know. And then finally it was just like. You know, I got to a point where it's just like, I'm just going to learn this program, and it's been on since, you know. You know, having Paul and Joseph and those guys come out there, and they're trying to, you know, I can see they're trying to build this culture of, you know, teaching, you know, their users the interface and working in there and having big ZBrush, you know, the ZBrush summits over at Newman and stuff like that. It's just, I think it's a really cool program to be part of, you know. But yeah, that's where I'm at, and I'm sticking to it. So. You know. But,
and if you go to his website, it's MatthewMasterson.com. You'll be able to see his 2D work as well as his 3D work. And at what point did you start incorporating your 3D work into like your advertising and your graphic design work?
It was slow. You know, there was always, I always felt, I should say it's just a personal experience, I always felt there's points where there's pushback on 3D. You know, it's like, oh, no, you know, we're going to do it this way type of thing. And I think people are caught up with the overall thing, like, you know, Pixar type, you know, this is a process and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you can make 3D look like 2D, you know? but it was a slow process to work that into, my pipeline. It was easier to do it with motion graphics than like print and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just recently, I mean, like I was doing a logo for a client back west there. They wanted a windmill in their or wind vine or whatever in their logo instead of looking on Google and trying to search out the perfect image. Like, dude, I knocked it out in 30 minutes. Brought it back into Photoshop, had whatever view I wanted.
Yeah.
Bam, it goes in. Forget about it. And client's happy, I'm happy.
And that's one of the things about Photoshop that I know I got all cranky and I'm shaking my fist at Photoshop saying, why in God's name are you doing 3D in Photoshop? And that's the perfect example as to why you would do something like that.
Yeah, I do, like, I think, like, Photoshop's gotten a little bit bloated, a little bit, but, it's a fine line, I think, maybe, but, yeah, it's just, it's been, it's just like the root of my programs, for as long as I've been in this stuff, I mean, like, I remember before the tablets were out and stuff like that, like, I drew with the mouse, actually, it was a bet, it's like, let's see if Matt can draw with the mouse type thing, I won $50, man. It was cool.
Yeah.
But I think the tablets were not even. I mean, they were talking about them.
Yeah.
But you got Cintiqs and stuff like that, and they're awesome, and there's Photoshop. It's still there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching Adobe on Twitch, and their presenter was showing how you can go into like the Adobe Market, I guess it is, and you can go and grab 3D models of people, and then you can flip through and change only their head, and you can flip through and just change only their chest, and then their torso, and then their feet and stuff, and then you can pose them any kind of way. Like they have where you can play the video or like the animation loop that this model is on, and you can stop at a certain frame and then take that frame of the 3D model, spin it around in your design, and then like add a bunch of other. Paul Tranny was doing the presentation, and it was pretty ridiculous. All of a sudden, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, because you can take something like that, and if you're doing like, booths for conventions and stuff like that, and looking for, like you want to show scale and perspective, you throw that type of stuff in there, and it all relates to the design,
Yeah, those fuse models would be great for those things. Yeah. Architectural rendering, visualization stuff. Or even like, map painters. I think, as it progresses, that engine in Photoshop, right? A lot of map painters nowadays use either, I know I've seen some time lapses where they're very primitive boxes and stuff they might have made in 3D. Being able to bring that OBJ in now and then on a layer and then start painting over it, finding their reference images and of like cityscape and stuff that they're going to blend in with those boxes and stuff and turn it into what they need, and be a separate layer, and kick those layers out to After Effects and stuff too.
Yeah,
package together. Yeah,
it's like really amazing, and it's like they dish that stuff out so quick, man. It's like to go in there and just like what Charlie's talking about, and bust out just basic forms. Like we want to see this view or whatever it is, and then shoot that over to the concept artist and then just knock it out. It's just like, wow. I think if you go on ZBrush Central, there's a city thing that Joseph Druss collaborated with another concept artist where he busted out a city real quick in ZBrush, and then he handed it over, and we did like a stand scene. I don't know if you guys caught that one, but I was like, I mean, that's just a niche of what they do, man. It's just like, it's really cool. So.
Thanks to Costa for letting us know that the audio is good.
Costa's listening.
Much appreciated, sir. Much appreciated.
The dude follows my Pinterest.
That dude.
So dumb.
Like that? He can't respond right now. This is awesome.
Oh, but he can. He can with hashtag #AskSketchZone.
That's why I like Jack.
Yes.
Real quick, because Jack, I saw that you, and I need to leave myself a note.
Mm-hmm.
You had tweeted that you're going
Yes.
to be giving away some of your work.
Ooh.
Yes. I have a couple of copies of Captain and Crow's ABCs, the illustrated kids book I did a couple years back. Signed in with some little doodles in them that I'm going to give away on the show. So all you have to do is share the show and tag us. That's @SketchZone, and you'll automatically be entered. Now, if you call in on the show, you get entered twice.
Whoa!
How
What?
about that?
Are we giving them away like right now? Today?
We're doing it right now?
You tell me what's the best way to do this.
We're halfway through the show, so why don't we?
Yeah, let's take the names. Let's take the names for the next week, and we'll give it away at the beginning of next show.
Perfect.
Ooh, new segment.
So you got a full week to get in on this, and then we'll announce the names beginning of next episode.
Now, are you like, not including Germany in this, or?
Oh no, Germany's totally available. In fact, they should totally jump on this because this is right up their game. They can get my stuff without paying.
So if you have a design company or an animation company in Germany and you're looking for some branding, now is your chance.
Jack has a brand Bible that he's given away.
It's already printed for you. You could scan it at high res and just do whatever you want with it.
No matter what your name of your company is, I'm sure you can find the character.
There's something in this book that you could use.
Oh, we should do this.
I should start one of those clip art companies where you just sell books of stuff that can be like.
Or
used.
someone in Germany can start a clip art company for you.
Oh, that's right. I already started.
They can do a solo
And then
collaboration.
if that's the case, we'll just send you a PDF copy of the book and.
Sketch Zone solo collab.
So that's it. So take tonight's show and share it.
Share it out.
Tag Jack and Sketch Zone.
Blow his
That's
social media up.
There you go. All
That's
right.
it.
Cool, Jack. That's cool, Jack. Thanks for doing
All right. So one of the topics that Matt and I were talking about earlier was working for the big agencies versus working for a smaller place. Matt, can you touch on that again?
Yeah, I think I've always been that dude that has wanted to work for the studios type of thing, but it's like I don't know, it's never been that right time type of deal, throwing a portfolio in there. I've always stuck with the agency, basically the middleman, of everything, and it's been great, I can't say I haven't learned anything or anything like that, but it's always been that, like, man, these guys only work like 4, 5, 6 months and then they're out of work, and and it's like, man, I like to work each week, and have great health insurance.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. Not to bag on anybody that does, but it's always been that. I don't know, man. It's like that Rubik's Cube, type thing, But I think it was, I was telling Carlos here, it was like George Ushell. I hit up his audio blog, and he said something this past week. He was just like, with the studios, why does it have to be just the studios? Why are you working so hard to just be there at, like, these Warner Brothers or Universal? It's like where you have everything out there now to, be creative at whatever you want to do, different types of media. Why not create something for yourself or within your group and, bust out that way type of thing? Which he did have a point. He just kind of hit home, It's just like, yeah, true. Why do you have to work for some big name to define yourself, So, I mean, it was just kind of like,
Yeah, what is that?
Mhm.
What is that? Like, and we talk about this during the show quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's ironic that DaCosta, and I don't even know if ironic is the right way, if this is the right position to use the word ironic, but
coincidence.
Luckily, or yeah, it's a coincidence that DaCosta commented earlier, because he and I talk about this kind of a lot. He's got a lot of really cool things happening in his life, and we always talk about how he's self-taught, and I went to art school, but in art school, kids are always talking about how, yeah, I have this wonderful story that I want to work on, and I have this other thing that I want to do, and then they say, okay, after graduation, I want to go work for Disney and Pixar, and which is wonderful. If that's what you want to do, knock yourself out, get there, do what it takes to get there. However, when you get there, you're going to be working on their stuff.
Yeah.
And all of your energy is going to go towards their stuff. So if you have all of these really cool ideas, Matt and I were talking about this earlier before you guys logged in, like, now's the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
As a student, work on your stuff, like, get those ideas out there, and even if you get a nice story written down, and you let's say it's an animation, let's say you animated it, and you know that you can do it better, but that's later, then redo it later. Like Hollywood redoes everything all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's kind of cool. Like my son, he'll hit me up, and he keeps a journal, and he's really into the comic thing, and he's got his story ideas and stuff like that. And it's like he sits there and he takes the time and hits his journal and makes his little pictures, and it's something down the line that he wants to create, and it might evolve into something else or whatever it is, and but there's this huge, overhead name, looming over you, So I mean, I don't know, it's just like if you got that thing that you want to create and go after it, just go after it, man, and
how helpful, and this goes out to everyone on the panel. How helpful is it truly to have big named people on your resume?
In terms of just the studio?
Finding work.
I
think cutting your teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like getting in there and, learning how everything is going back and forth, and then branching out from there.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this. I was talking about this at work this week too. We were talking about this lately. I think it's very helpful to have those big name studios on your resume, or to have I guess it can vary a little bit from industry to industry, just in terms of like people looking to see who has like experience in like a high pressure situation, and we know that like or you should know, artists should know that like portfolio work and sometimes personal work is not sometimes not a true reflection in all cases of how you would work in a production environment under pressure when you have deadlines and stuff. So if someone sees you've spent 2 years somewhere else, or and spent a good amount of time at a studio, I can see how that could be very beneficial. Because people can take however long they want, make an amazing ZBrush sculpt, but maybe they don't know anything else outside of ZBrush. Maybe they just make beautiful sculpts, and that's not enough in any outside of maybe a big huge place where you're just a ZBrush guy. You still probably have to prep it for somebody else in a different department. So in that instance, Carlos and the rest of the panel, I think that could be good. That could be a good reason why you would, have it for that high pressure experience. I like to call it now.
Learn how to challenge yourself.
Well, no, more so learn how to meet deadlines and take in input and then create.
I like to call it sell your soul to the devil.
I don't know if it's really selling your soul. I think we paint a bleak picture about working for big name places. In general, and I don't think it is that. I think because I've seen not all artists can perform, and then say take the scapegoat of like, oh, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Well, you're going to do your own thing because you couldn't meet the demand of what you need to do as an artist. Maybe you need to go and study a little bit more and work on your art so that you can perform, so you can say, hey, I've been able to do this, so that when you do go do your own thing, you have a little bit more merit behind it. But that's, like I said, I have a little bit of a different view in my older age now of why that is. As much as I hated doing all those art tests and stuff like that, and coming close and to different studios, when you do land those jobs, you do feel a little bit of sense of accomplishment and being able to keep it. Because I've seen people, like we said earlier, bye-bye after, the 30 to 90 days, because they can't cut it,
Yeah.
But I think
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I think it's totally valid, and I think it's a common desire that a lot of starting out artists have, and even veteran artists. I can't name that many people that I have worked with that don't have a side project or another, one of their own ideas that they want to do. Whether or not it's like an animated short, or it's like a board game, or a novel, like whatever it is, all these people are creative, right? And creatives tend to want to create their own stuff. That's kind of what makes you who you are. And that's gold. Don't ever let that go. And you should, like Carlos said, you should always chase after that. But I do think that having experience in the work environment, working with other people, working with deadlines, doing the actual day-to-day work, especially if your goal is like a lot of animation students, like, I want to direct my own films, or I want to go make my own studio. And in order to do that, you have to actually know like what it takes to do that work and be in that work environment. And that's not the same thing as being a student and doing that work, because that's a small scale project that you're doing from conception all the way to finish pretty much by yourself. That's not how it's going to work in the real world. If you're lucky enough to be the Matt Groenings or the whoever it may be, that Noel Stevensons that get picked up like right off out of school, you're not going to be on the ground floor doing the work. You're going to be managing people. You're going to be directing. That's a very different skill set than what I think a lot of creatives have. Yeah. And some creatives just aren't cut out to be managers, directors, and producers. They're just not. They're better at doing artwork. Or it doesn't mean that they're not good at creating. They just may not be good at that high level management and organization and helping coaching other people on how to do that, because that's what you're going to be doing if you're quote unquote creating content or creating your own thing.
Yeah.
So I think working at a studio is incredibly valuable. And it doesn't really matter the size, but obviously the bigger the studio, the more easy it is to show on a resume, because somebody's going to know who they are. But I don't think the size particularly matters. It's just as long as it shows that you've got the experience and that you've put in the time and that you can work well with others and that you're not stealing stuff off of Google and claiming it as your own.
Right? No, I really like where we're touching, because I feel like we've talked about this a lot, but like I've had numerous conversations with other artists about this, and it's one of my pet peeves of why I have a problem with like Kickstarter, with some of the like game projects and stuff like that start, which is all well and good to go and do a Kickstarter. I'm not saying I'm against Kickstarter, but I have a problem when you're like deciding to do something, and maybe you're a good artist, maybe you have a great looking demo or something like that, but a lot of these people that like have jumped on the bandwagon of crowdfunding for these different things, especially with games I'm talking about at this point, or even films, they get into it really quickly and maybe they'll have success, and they really realize, oh, holy crap, making a game is really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not making a demo. It's not making one level.
That's the conversation that I was having with Tremel Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
He's a creative director at
Bosky.
Yeah, Bosky. Thank you. And this was right around when I got my Kickstarter funded for my game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had gone down. He was living in San Diego, and I went down there. We were all hanging out. And he goes, yeah, there's all these people, these games getting funded for some very unrealistic budgets. And what these people are missing out on is the fact that you can't make the game that they're trying to make for $20,000. It's impossible to do what they're trying to do. And then he started like rattling off, you know, the artwork and the programming, not to mention the server space and the bandwidth and all that other stuff. And he started rattling things off, and I was like, well, that sucks for them, because I got mine and I built my game and I'm done, and so I'm out the door. But I mean, it was a lot of work for me. But yeah, being exposed to the real world of delivering on something is definitely a benefit.
Yeah.
But then what happens is these are a couple of my challenges that I deal with almost on a daily basis. I go to interview somewhere, and even though I tell them, listen, I've been a contractor for a long time, they say, well, why do you have all these jobs on your resume? And I'm like, well, because I was a contractor for a long time. Oh, you're only here for 8 months, and you're only there for a year, and you're 6 months here. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's because I was a contractor for a long time. So folks refuse to look at the fact that a lot of my work was under contract.
Mm-hmm.
They just see that I've been like floating around, and I've been floating around because that's my job, you know. You drop me here, I could be a programmer. You drop me there, I can be a designer. You drop me over there, and you know, a lot of my work has actually, you know, I'll go. This happened a couple of jobs ago where they hired me to be a programmer, and then they saw that I had design skills, and all of a sudden, my 3-month contract turned into a year. Mm-hmm. Because all of a sudden they're like, oh, this kid, he's like an all-purpose tool. And then they just kept throwing work. Can you redo these?
Carlos is a tool.
I'm a tool. I refuse for that to be the show title.
Got written down.
Carlos is a tool. No, anyway, so that's one of my challenges is getting people to actually acknowledge the fact that I'm not like jumping around jobs on purpose. It's more or less because I'm a contractor, and that's kind of the life of a contractor.
Interviewing skills 101 sounds like someone's lacking and needs to go do a weekend workshop. Because anybody who knows freelancers should know, like what a freelancer is and how you're a specialist brought on for a very specific thing, for a set amount of time, or if you get extended. But I mean, you're not like a high school, student that like had 5 different fast food jobs because you're eating fries out of the fryer. Like
the guy who walked by with eating the chicken McNugget in front of the manager.
Yeah.
and then yet again, I guess this is a warning for a lot of folks out there that do work for the bigger companies or the studios or whatever. Don't move to Sonoma.
What?
Why?
Because I've been looking for work. Well, I'm working now, but when I'm looking for work, I send my resume out, and I had a tough time finding a full-time job out here, and I finally gave my resume to someone whose opinion I value immensely, who lives in the area. He's a business owner in this area. And I said, can you take a look at my resume? Tell me what I'm doing wrong. And he looked at it. He goes, your resume is way too big.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out here that they don't mind you working for Mammy and Pappy's pizza place. They don't mind if you're serving ice cream at the ice cream shop down the street and now you're a designer. But when they see my, I guess, hefty resume, the guy was like, all of these people are, if they're hiring you for like an assistant position or anything like that, they're all afraid that you're coming to get their job.
Right. Too much.
That's a good point, because I had this corporate-looking resume, with all the stuff, and I this year, man, I just threw it on one page. And I got like a better response from it, and I mean it goes back like over a decade of work, but still, it's you don't have to, kind of thumb through it type of thing, so.
Yeah, I have all my stuff on one page.
Yeah, I heard page and a half nowadays. So did you just have to cut down some of your past work, Carlos, and you only made it like the last?
Actually, what I ended up doing is
the biggest one.
What I ended up doing was starting my own design company. Hired my damn self.
Okay. New design firm popped up in Sonoma. You snagged that position.
Yeah. I was like, yes. Finally, a job I can qualify for.
And you like everyone that works there too. Great environment.
The boss is
It's a great environment.
the boss is a tool.
But he understands me.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of fun working for the big agencies. Your resume is really fun to read, and I send it to my mom from time to time, be like, look, see, art does pay from time to time. But yeah, you just don't move to Sonoma. You'll be fine. I think this is a good time for this or that. That's the theme song. All right, Matthew Masterson, illustrator extraordinaire. You were born in the Long Beach area?
Flagstaff, Arizona.
Or okay,
Almost.
there you go. Flagstaff.
Or there.
Did you? No, you.
Kind of nearby.
You spent a lot of time in California, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I pretty much spent, like 27, 30 years.
By the way, I passed through Flag. Actually, Jack and I, when we were moving to
Yeah,
California,
we did. We stopped there.
we stopped there for a little bit.
So you guys like, yeah, there's the peaks. All right, let's go.
And then we left.
Yeah, it's like
We're like,
this
okay,
is a cool little
where it
like
is.
foresty mountain town, and then let's go.
Not there yet. Come on.
All right, so since you spent plenty of time in Flagstaff and Southern California, east or west?
Fine.
I'm gonna say west. I'll say west.
Yeah.
Begrudgingly.
Matt lives in Atlanta now.
It's just, I don't know. I'm just gonna go. There's a lot of good times out back west.
All right, you in Atlanta? What part?
I'm just north of Atlanta. I'm actually in Belton.
Ohio.
Yeah.
I should say me too.
I'm actually going to be relocating pretty close to Atlanta here.
Oh, really?
So.
What's your favorite part of Atlanta?
I've been really I know, just stay out of the middle part.
Wait,
Stay
what?
around the ring. It's like, I've explored like Tennessee more so than down there. It's like, it's funny because like I work, I go down there for all my work and stuff like that, and that's what I go down there for, is that stuff. And now it's like I'm working full time at a place down there, and I'm working actually right across from where they're building the SunTrust Stadium. So, but with me, closer to work here soon, I guess I'll explore Atlanta a little bit better, so.
Out there, explore Atlanta.
Huh?
Get out there and explore more of Atlanta.
Yeah. I haven't done enough, seriously, down there, so, I mean, like, there's Dragon Con coming up and stuff like that, so I kind of want to jump in that and see what's going on. So.
It's great food, too.
See, like, okay, you say great food, right? Okay, like, everybody at my work's like, dude, there's just nothing here to eat.
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
What kind of food is Atlanta known for?
I don't know, man. It's like I like good
Soul
Mexican
food?
Man.
Yeah, they have some good, but they got a lot of good fusion, like, places they're, like, flipping it on its head, like, like, not just, like, the traditional, but they're...
Okay, I'm going to ask Charlie to sit back in his chair. I don't want to continue to talk to your forehead.
Sorry.
You're like all 3D'ing out. I'm like, you are literally in my office right now. All right, so soul food and peaches. All right. Matthew Masterson, Photoshop or ZBrush?
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
he did it.
That's hard, dude. Why do you have to do that one?
My job.
Oh. I'm going to go ZBrush.
Ooh.
I'm going to ZBrush.
Photoshop's some crashing tomorrow.
Take that, Adobe.
Nah,
Take
it's
that,
just,
Adobe.
I have great hope, and
I'm trying to clean it up now. You've already done it.
I'm repping, so yeah, ZBrush.
All right. A demo reel or a portfolio?
I'd like to do the demo reel. Demo reel. I don't know. I think it has a little bit more ability to communicate your projects better. I think portfolio can be. I mean, it's good, but I think it can get stagnant a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
but like you can really, I think you can do stuff a little bit more in that demo reel than what you can do with the portfolio.
Nice.
Look at Charlie. Come on, Charlie. What do you think?
What?
What do you think? Portfolio demo reel, man.
Charlie.
I know you're looking up at the
I don't know. That's Carlos gave you a curveball there. I think they're kind of could be one and the same, but I guess depending on if you're
Alright, so
have stuff that's moving and not, maybe. You know, but
Well, you do like a lot of environment type work, right?
yes.
Yeah. So I mean, wouldn't you like, you know, with the demo reel, you can really get in there and do some pan zooming and trucking and stuff like that with your work, and it kind of relays or communicates an atmosphere type scenario.
Yeah. Like I said, that's what I said. It depends on if you're moving or not. But like, I mean, if I'm showing off models and stuff, I can do like, you know, real-time ways you can toggle your models in a portfolio page. Like on
Oh, now you're just showing off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But, you know, like I can.
Well, if I really wanted to, I could totally get this VR system out and then.
Things like Sketchfab and all this other stuff now that like there's no longer your stuff needs to be just stagnant. You know, it can be like, oh, zoom in there and really see it. But hey.
All right, Carlos, come on.
All right, let's see. Would you rather do caricatures or work on a comic book?
I'll go with characters. I'll do
You're
characters.
really good at them. I enjoy your
You'd be like the
caricatures.
best dude at Six Flags Great America ever.
A little
Freaking
bit.
A, I'll rock it too, man.
They made like this crazy system where it's like a huge like new version of a lightweight Cintiq with like, you know, like what's the Sketchbook Pro or something, and it just prints out after when they're done on a nice like print.
Yeah.
Awesome.
3D prints.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's right. How about 3D print your portfolio right after having it be a demo reel?
There you go.
And then sell it. And sell the print.
Only to Germany for free.
No, you're collabing. It's like collaboration.
Jack's just like, I'm never going to hear this one.
Yeah. All right, so now this next one is about teamwork. Guardians of the Galaxy or Suicide Squad?
Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't caught Suicide Squad yet.
I haven't seen it either.
You really have to though at this point.
I heard some bad things about it, so.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
was just
pushing
reading
in
on.
one direction then.
One of my buddies just got done watching it, and he posted on Twitter. It was actually entertaining. I almost started laughing, but then I remembered that we're recording a show. He said, "Holy crap. I had low expectations for Suicide Squad. It was even worse than I expected. One of the worst big-budget movies I've ever seen." And this guy is a little bit of a geek when it comes to this stuff.
I heard it was worse than Fantastic Four.
Which one?
Which one?
Because they've had a lot of really bad Fantastic Fours.
I go on record saying I did like the reboot. I thought it had potential.
The reboot?
Yeah, I thought it had potential. The one
Yeah.
with Michael B. Jordan?
It had potential.
I did. I liked the cast. I just think origin stories put you in a really bad situation for actors.
Especially
Like,
after
yeah.
3 other people have tried it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You guys know how Snapchat came out with the new, not Snapchat, sorry, Instagram came out with the new story mode. They basically
Yeah,
ripped out. Well, it's
they're working
speaking
with the
of
Germans.
plagiarism and
They're working with the Germans.
Yo, it's got to be a hashtag.
Actually,
Instagram
Instagram is actually German for Snapchat. I don't know if you guys knew that.
What?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's actually pronounced Instagram. Crickets, give me.
No.
Damn, that's one of those.
Right.
You will
German.
sit in
You
it.
said you get the pass.
Instagram.
Yeah, you pushed it.
I wanted crickets.
You wanted
It's
to
been
go
a long time
You
since I've said
wanted it
hello
so
to my
bad.
friends.
Yeah,
So
you
bad.
did.
Matthew Masterson, Snapchat or Instagram?
Well, let's see. I'm doing Instagram.
Matt,
way to go all in on Instagram, kid.
yo, Matt, you're so torn with this.
Dude, I'm just like,
You're like, God,
it's like,
man.
I mean, like, no, but lately, like, I've been getting a lot of spam on Instagram, and it's been kind of irritating, because it's like one of those things I go to get inspired and look at everybody's work and drool over, and then I get, like, you know, here's a booty call. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, dude, you're ruining my dream here.
Those
Yo, you
derail me every time. I'm like looking at some drawings and hey, do you want? I am lonely girl. Would you like to come friend with me? Like, whoa, what? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Bring it back. Bring it back, please. Bring it back.
All right. Last one is Pokemon Go or Pokemon No?
Pokemon, no.
That
was not popular one. Nah, I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I haven't been real excited about either.
Yeah,
It's
there's.
nuts how many people are playing that.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I'm just like, I don't know, man. One, it's too hot to get out here, you know?
Okay, now you sound a little bit of.
So what you have to do, Matt, you have to get out there and take an Uber to all of the little locations and.
Dude, you guys hit up Francis? Man, he was on this. He goes over like reviews on games and stuff like that, and does this character.
Oh yeah, I saw his video. That was good.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm really good friends with the Uber guy. And they're like, dude, they're charging you, Francis. They're not your friends. Yeah, he is.
He wouldn't do that to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he would. All right, that's it for this or that. I did want to touch on a couple updates, however.
Ooh.
Our buddy
Where's
Dave
our
Atsy.
Yeah.
Good news.
Yeah, he got a successfully funded Kickstarter this week. Yeah, Dave, good job, kid.
Great job, man. Great job.
So I'll be expecting my book ASAP.
Wow.
Yeah, enough is enough. I'm tired of waiting.
You're that special backer that like gets it first, right?
Hey, Carlos.
Yeah.
Carlos, this is what you can do, though. You can go on Google and type Dave Atsy, and then you can just save all of his work, and then
Start my own book.
start your own book. You don't even need to do Kickstarter. You just type. It's all there.
It's all there.
But I'll call it Achtung, baby.
You might even get like images or not in the book.
Yeah.
Exclusives.
Yeah, dude, Kickstarter kicked, man. Dude, like, they had this guy, Sandy Calera, on there, and he wanted to make his movie, Shallow Water, and he did a successful Kickstarter here just recently for it and raised like $85,000 for it for an independent movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was like he did it You had to run it like a couple times, but he finally succeeded in getting it. But yeah, it's like, wow.
That's awesome. It's really cool when you see these things get funded.
I have a
Go ahead.
I was just saying I have a buddy on the Kickstarter right now doing really, really well. Old game development buddy named Tim Weiss started a studio called No Matter, and like he has a game on there called Pray to the Gods, but like Pray for the Gods, and it's really cool. Think of like Shadow of the Colossus meets kind of like that kind of style. You know, you're fighting huge golems, if you will. You know, you have to climb up on them and stuff. It's really cool. It's been getting really good press around the industry. But
cool.
It's a really polished game. Like, I'll send you guys. We'll put in links. So it's really great. So hopefully, you know, they'll get all the funding they need.
Props.
Oh, it's cool. You know, well thought out.
Another project that needs to be funded. Everyone knows that I'm part of the Midway documentary, the crew that's based in Chicago, doing the documentary on Chicago hip-hop, the history of Chicago hip-hop.
Yep.
Last week today, we had a really cool turnout. We invited, we have over 150 people interviewed for this thing, and we invited just them. It was not this launch event was not open to the public, but we invited all of the people that had been interviewed. We had 120 people show up to this party, and it was cool. We live streamed it. We interviewed everyone for this Kickstarter. Not Kickstarter, sorry. Actually, that's a good point. Not everything has to be a Kickstarter. We learned that there's this site called Seed and Spark, and it's specifically for filmmakers. So they have a lot of really cool tools when it comes to that. And then, you know, if you get a certain amount of people that follow you, so Sketch Zone Nation, please go to, actually you can go to sketch.zone, and we have links to the Midway documentary Seed and Spark page. If you could please do me a favor, go there and if you can kick in, please do that. If you can't, it's understandable, but share the project. We need to get more eyes on it. And the one thing that you can do that's free is follow us. And the more followers we get like certain filmmaker tools unlocked for us. So yeah. Anyway, Seed and Spark. They seem they're I think on the newer side, a lot newer than Kickstarter at least. But yeah, we've been working on this film for 2.5 years now. We're at the point now where to be able to get Ryan and Chad, DJ Risky Business, we need to get. We're at the point now where we need to go out to over by where Matt is. We need to go to Atlanta to interview a couple people there. We have to go to New York. We have to come out to LA. There's a lot of people that we need to get to that can't really make it back to Chicago, so we have to go out to them. And then there's other things there's a video there that explains it all. So if you could please go to sketch.zone and then click on the links there, it'll take you directly to the things that you need to check out. We need your help. I think that's it for me. Anything else, yo?
Yeah. There's one more thing. I was just looking for it real quick. Cool. I just want to tell you guys a quick 3D thing again, once guys, for all the listeners out there that are 3D. And mainly alert for all the students and you know, teachers or professionals that may use Substance Painter. Last week over at Noman Studios, or Noman the school, I should put Studios, Noman the school. They had their weekend workshop or weekend mini conference for Substance, company Allegorithmic, and it had it's called Substance Days. So just like they have the ZBrush Summit, they're now having a Substance one, and Allegorithmic put it on and had a lot of little master classes and stuff like that. But the big announcement out of that is now all of the tools from Allegorithmic, Substance Designer, Substance Painter, those two big heavy hitters are now free for all students and teachers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Whoa.
So there's no excuse for any of the teachers out there, my people that teach. You can now tell your students to download that and start teaching them. And if you don't know it as a teacher, all right, 2016, hurry up. You should already know it. Throw it into your curriculum for the fall, because you can go to your program chairs and say, "Yo, this is free. Just put it on the computers, or allow me to tell my students to download it and let me put it in my curriculum." Because I just talked to another one of my artist buddies that teaches here in Chicago at a couple of different places, and he was like, "Yeah, they won't even buy that stuff." I'm like, no more pity party excuses. You can do it for free. You can do it for free now. I'm a big proponent. Like when I taught, if they didn't have it, I pushed until I couldn't push anymore for them to get stuff. And if I didn't, I still showed them how to use stuff, because I would buy it myself and then still show them. I mean, in order to change a culture at any school or institution, is you have to think outside the box. And luckily, the programs are now starting to do so and give it to the younger generation for free. So that's great. Substance Painter is quickly becoming industry standard. It's already industry standard in the game. Substance Designer also, but it's making strides in film. It's starting to get up there with Mari. Not quite there yet, but it's on its way. So it's good. It's a good alternative.
Have you tried?
Yeah.
Have you tried 3D Coat yet, Charlie?
Yes, I've tried 3D Coat. I think 3D Coat's pretty good too. It has a great sculptor. They use voxels, so that means it basically puts the information where you're sculpting. So it's really cool. They have a really good algorithm for their unwrapper. So, and then they just incorporated PBR in 4.7. So yeah, that's awesome too. And then if you like hand painting, so think of Blizzard style, League of Legends, Dota, all that style. 3D Coat's really cool for that. They have a really nice painter. You can paint, and now you can paint PBR textures with it too. But a lot of Dota artists and a lot of those guys use it. It's some amazing 3D, 2D work that's really pretty stuff. Really laid out.
Yeah, that's I caught Substance Days too, bits and parts of it, and I want to get into that. And then I watch Anthony Jones using 3D Coat, and I didn't really. I talked to him just a little briefly about it through Facebook, but yeah, I'm really interested in 3D Coat as well. So
yeah, both of them are great third-party tools to paint your models on your mesh. I don't think I've, sad to say I haven't been in Photoshop in a long while outside of using another painting tool to add on for Photoshop. Yeah, I've been in Photoshop for other.
I don't feel so bad for my this or that.
But it's just cool. You use Photoshop for other things now. It's just kind of cool for texture painting. When it comes to CG, it's nothing like rotating your model and painting on your model instead of rotating on a flat, painting on a flat surface, loading it into your engine and looking at it. You need that instant gratification, especially if you're hand painting stuff. It's really cool.
And then
so yeah,
Quixel's not even Quixel's just kind of starting out. So
no, they've been around at the same time as a Substance. They're Substance biggest competitor.
But they're not Mac-based, right?
Huh?
They're not Mac-based yet, right?
Mac-based? Yeah, but who really is? Who want to be?
Easy.
I'm serious.
Choose your next words wisely, Persian.
Yo. Let me think about it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yo, Mac sucks when it comes for 3D. I'm sorry. No one's using that. No one's using that for release games. That's what I'm talking about. That's why. Sorry. Tell Apple to stop catering to like the casual market and get back to making really good high-end machines.
Oh, that's a very solid point.
I think, well, like what Charlie does, I think, I mean, PC is probably the way to go. I mean,
my director is having a really bad week with Apple. I guess they had some kind of update to their OS.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of, he went through three Macs, and we don't have a lot of Macs at our job. He went through two laptops, his work laptop, and like he's down to his workstation. It's just like
that makes me wonder if that's not operator error.
Yeah, because Mac's been really good lately.
That's all I got. I don't have any problems whatsoever.
You know what? I'm gonna just say this, man. I can go to my Mac and get like solid hours of work out of it, without other stuff happening. That's
in ZBrush. In ZBrush, you mean?
ZBrush too. Like it, like it doesn't crash and all this other stuff, and I don't know. I mean, I just get like for me, dude, I get solid work out of it. And it's like,
I don't remember the last time I've had my computer crash. Honestly, that word is literally foreign to me.
Oh yeah, crash.
I'm not even joking. I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, when did it? Oh, that's right.
Hey, yo, poke the bull, Jack.
What's up?
Don't poke the bull. Don't poke the bull.
Right. All of a sudden.
Jack get to work and he just puts
his
coffee down.
I still back up.
Yeah.
Don't die on me now. Don't die on me now. That's everything's okay. I love you.
Nah. But to recap our 3D tangent,
all of a sudden, mid-sentence, Jack is like, boom!
He's gone. Do that again. It's awesome. Yeah. No, but I really, my hat's off to Allegorithmic for doing that for all the students and teachers and stuff. And remembering teachers, too. Sometimes I forget teachers in that.
There's been a few software packages that have done that. Isn't there? Wasn't there like there was a 2D animation package that went free?
Oh,
God, what was it? I downloaded it too.
Yeah, remember it's the like old school made a lot of cartoons with it.
Not TV Paint, but something like that.
Yeah, I can't think of it right now. No.
No.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Really?
I haven't. Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was though.
Did you install it?
I did, and then I looked at the icon. And that's all I did. That's free as hell. I still haven't touched it.
Free as hell.
He said, I looked at the icon.
Was the icon so bad that you didn't even want to use the program, or?
No. Like, time escapes me so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I've been working in Flash for so long, I might as well just do it in there. Because technically my Animate, my Creative Cloud is free for a year, so.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, son.
Rub it in.
Yeah.
As much as I haven't used it as much for texturing, I still need that Creative Cloud, though. And all their little tools. Encoder, all the great stuff. No, the stuff is free. Go get it.
Man, are you on Creative Cloud?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I have a professional like on that, and then my personal side, I don't like it. It's like a love and hate relationship type thing.
What sucks is I got the Adobe what is that? Ink and Slide. If you guys remember, it was like a Bluetooth thing connected to the Creative Cloud, and then it was the pen and then the little ruler thing. And it's just sitting in the closet. I should maybe.
Is it in the closet? It's not even on the desk.
It's just sitting there. I used it like once. Not that I didn't want to. It's my iPad at the time didn't have the. It was too old, so I wasn't able to use it. I should
Pull it out. Yeah.
easy. Pause. Whatchamacallit? No, I was gonna say I should get it and give it away
Oh, like a
on the
giveaway.
show.
Yeah,
Give it away on the show.
Man, come on, Carlos.
Jack,
Hey,
I
Carlos,
was just like, you know, I've never.
we're trying to attract listeners, not scare them away.
They're like, we are not your garage sale.
I told you you were gonna say I should use it for my next project. I should give it away.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just literally just sitting there, and if anyone could use it,
Shout out.
yeah, we'll let Jack give his stuff away, and then I'll go and
do another hashtag.
I'll go grab a pair of jeans and see if anyone wants a pair of jeans. An old shirt that I don't wear anymore.
Got some old Abercrombie in the closet.
Here's an old muffler.
Play no closet situation. We'll take your new designer.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, Matt Masterson.
Awesome, Matt.
Thank you, sir, for being on the show.
Oh, it's been fun, man.
If people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
MatthewMasterson.com, mdm.artstation.com. Hit me up on Facebook. I look at it all, man.
Boom.
Yeah.
Thanks again, man. It was nice to finally meet you face to face. I know we talk about stuff all the time on Facebook.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man. It's fun to be on the show. It's always good to debate, issues and watch Charlie look up at his ceiling.
I don't know what is going on in Charlie's clothing, but he's like.
Yeah, I know.
He's just. Yes, Charlie. Yes.
I drink a lot of sugary drink. I'm like
something. Like we get
The ghosts are getting all up in your business.
Close up of eyeballs and stuff. Speaking of delectable eyeballs, Charlie B. Williams. If people are looking for you, where can they find you?
You can find me on my webpage, which is cargocollective.com/CharlieB. I'm on Facebook. Artist page is facebook.com/CharlieBW3. That almighty Twitter, CharlieBW3. I'm on Instagram, CharlieBW3. And then Pinterest. Guess what? CharlieBW3. Go out and find me.
Bye.
Get it in your life.
Get your life right.
Get your life right, son.
And Jack Kasperzak. If people are looking for you, where can they find you?
Apparently, you can find me at EinsteinMarketing.com.
Yes. Can you add that each week at the end?
But if you're looking for me and not just my work, you can go to sketchbookjack.com and sketchbookjack everywhere else, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, which are all accessible in Germany.
And just for a nice little recap, if people want to win your book.
Yes, if you're interested in a signed and doodled up copy of Captain and Crow's ABCs, give us a holler at Sketch Zone and share today's show link. It'd be even better if you also do at Sketchbook Jack, so I know you're talking to me and you're not. I'll leave that one alone. I can only let this joke go for so long.
So good. So good. And I am Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com. on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Behance. You can find me under the name Coconut Justice. This has been the Sketch Zone podcast. You can find us at sketch.zone. You can suggest a guest by going to sketch.zone/guest if you're on Twitter. Look us up. We're at Sketch Zone. You can go to facebook.com/thesketchzone, youtube.com/sketchzonepodcast, and you can find us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. And just like Mud left us a review. This is the one that I was trying to remember a couple weeks ago. Mud left us a review. 5 stars. They present a lot of great and relevant info for anyone looking to get into the creative field.
Yeah.
Looking to gain more insight or looking for laughs with creatives. What I like is they talk to creatives from all spectrums, movies, illustration, comic books, etc. Highly recommend. So that was from Mud. And my question is, like DaCosta, Mud does the same thing. So it says, Mud with an exclamation mark or DaCosta with an exclamation mark. Is that DaCosta or is it DaCosta? Is it Mud or is it Mud?
I don't know. I think it's Mud.
Is it Joe Mad? Or is it Joe Mad? Because this thing is like a...
Yeah.
Charlie,
And then my question would be, why are you so mad, Joe?
Why are you so mad?
Charlie, you could do 3 exclamation points after your name.
Good. Change the game,
Charlie
Jack.
Williams!
It's like you're falling off a cliff. Charlie Williams!
Or you're really irate on a Facebook chat and you're trying to debate politics.
Oh, yeah.
All right, kids. That's
Nice.
it for us. Have a wonderful week.
See you guys.